I'm ready.
Okay, so welcome to our review here for test number 2 in micro and macroeconomics over the labor market and the financial markets. And so just a real quick review here. We've had the chapter 4 questions. If you haven't gotten them done, do them for partial because they were due earlier. And then the current event, of course, we had, and then all of these videos are very important for you to view. And then in chapter 5, I've got a little bit of extra stuff there that you guys don't see on your side, but working with our elasticities, those multiple choice questions were due yesterday. Get them in if you haven't, again, for partial credit. Some good videos here talking about elasticity. And then the study guide, hopefully you've had a chance to work on that. And then of course we'll have our test, then we'll have the multiple choice section of the test, and we will have the problem section. Now the problem section, if you can see right here, is only 20 points this time. The whole test is a little bit smaller, just because we have 2 chapters instead of 3. And so it's 20 points. You will not be drawing any graphs or anything, but you'll be interpreting them. And the multiple choice, anything in your book, like I always say to my classes and that, make sure you read the book all the way through, the whole chapters, because in economics you almost just have to. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little idea. And all my online classes, your test will be on the 7th, which is tomorrow, Thursday, 8 o'clock a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So whatever time during that day works for you, then you can choose. Once you sign in and you start the test, you've got 75 minutes to complete it. You will use Lockdown Browser. If you had a problem with Lockdown Browser last time, let me know. Most of you were just fine, but there were a couple, maybe 3, that had an issue. I'll work with you on that. I may not be able to reset it for Thursday because I can't get it so the Lockdown Browser doesn't get taken off for everybody, and get proctored and all that, but we'll work through it individually. Okay, so when we are talking about labor markets, okay, if we come over here and we look at our circular flow model, this is the same circular flow model that was on the board from chapter 1. We're looking at that inner circle. We've got our households and we've got our firms. And who are the suppliers of labor? The households, right? Who are the demanders of labor? The firms. Because the firms are saying, we need you to come and work for us because we need to produce our product or our service. Without employees, we can't do that. And the households are saying, okay, we need money too, because when we provide labor, we get paid salaries and wages because we need that money to pay all of our bills. So we have to keep that all going in addition to keeping the whole outside row of that circular flow model going with goods and services. With firms providing the goods and services, households purchasing the goods and services. If any of this breaks down, like March of 2020, almost exactly 4 years ago, I think it was March 17th was the day that everything got shut down, then this all falls apart.
Yeah.
But we've rebuilt, but are we still having some after effects? Yes, we're having after effects of the COVID situation. So all of this, all of our demand, our law of demand, all of our law of supply, all of our equilibrium, our surpluses, our shortages, everything all applies in both the labor markets and the financial markets. It's just we're looking at it from a different perspective than just goods and services. This is very important, the difference between these two. A change in quantity demanded or a change in quantity supplied. Those terms are very important. All depend on a change in price, okay? If on this graph, if just the price changes, then basically we're going to look on that demand curve and see when that price goes up, where does it intersect? Well, it intersects right here rather than originally right here. So we have a decrease in demand, or it's quantity, excuse me, quantity demanded, let me get that right, and we see that leftward shift along the line. That's the huge part, along the line. Now, stepping over here in this box, okay, then if we see something that changes beyond just a change in price, okay? If we see in the labor market, we see a lot more people available to be employed. Maybe there was a graduation and we had a lot of graduates in the nursing program. And so now we've got a lot of more nurses available. So would that, think about this, would that change the supply line, the amount of supply available at any price? Yes, because we have more available. We can see a shift to the right. And I always encourage students to draw those arrows in between those lines, because you've got angled lines and all of that. And on your test, and I'll show you in a little bit, these two graphs will be combined into one. And it looks like, whoa, but really, if you just think about your lines and what's happening and draw your arrows in there, you'll be fine. Okay, so we will see shifts to the left and to the right. And there are charts in your book, I don't know the pages on top of my head, of things that can shift demand and supply to the left or the right. If we look over here, okay, we also talked about price ceilings and price floors. And I noticed that I had these descriptions switched around. So I wanted to correct that. So if we have government intervention where they say minimum wage, for example, minimum wage would be a price floor or a price ceiling. Is it talking about the wage can't go any lower or the wage can't go any higher? Because you can think about the ceiling can't go any higher, okay? A price floor, the price can't go any lower, okay? That's how you kind of remember those things. So in this case, if the price can't go any higher to get up to equilibrium, we would have a price ceiling, okay? And that means that interest rates can't go any higher because that's a protection for us. There are laws in place that those interest rates are not supposed to go over a certain level. South Dakota is the only state that doesn't have usury laws, which actually say that you can't charge higher interest, like for people borrowing money or on credit cards and things like that. So now, if we have a minimum wage, they're saying that wage can't go any lower, okay? That would be our price floor, and that means that wage can't go any lower. So just think of that, because the minimum wage is there to say, okay, and it really isn't effective anymore because it's 25 years old, $7.25 is the federal minimum wage amount, and you can't live on minimum wage. 25 years ago, you could try, yeah, but not now. So like even $15. Last year, I tried to live on $16 an hour. I could not pay all my bills for my insurance, my taxes on my house, things like that, and pay for all the medical bills and that. So price floors, price ceilings. I'm just looking at anything here on the board. So when we're looking at profits and costs, anytime, like this is a supply curve, because the suppliers have to make money in order to stay in business, we can look at the amount of this level right here, whatever that price is, that they sell for. Part of that is the cost that they incur in producing their product or service, and whatever's left after the amount of the cost is taken out from the selling price is the amount of profit that they earn, okay? So if the costs are really high and they only have a little profit margin, which some industries are that way, then they don't have much profit that they make on each individual item. They'd have to have a lot of items that they sell, kind of economies of scale. But if their costs are pretty low, like some technology type things, because the cost for technology or your computer or things like that, you can be really creative, then you can have a pretty high profit margin. An example of that would be with the gaming systems. Okay, a lot of times now you don't have to actually go to Walmart or order online or whatever and get your game in hand. You can just download it online. Does that save the company a lot of money? You bet. All of the production, the shipping, all of that. Okay, so hopefully that helps on that part. Okay, shut her down.